I am vertical, but I would rather be horizontal is the title of the exhibition that marks the 25th anniversary of iMAL. We wanted to talk about the future. We also wanted to highlight digital creation that has already been shown at iMAL that aligns with the principles that we would like to reinforce for the upcoming 25 years. We actually have been reflecting a lot in the recent past about what would be the kind of digital creation that we'd like to support and how after 25 years we could also show iMAL's commitment and positioning towards digital creation. We have identified specific topics. One of them, in fact, is a broad one that talks about real engagement with digital creation and artists that embrace the limits of computation and that show this commitment with the climate emergency that surrounds us, but not only climate emergency, but also societal issues that surround us. So we wanted to highlight from the past of iMAL projects and actually works that had been already exhibited that follow these same principles, and then put them in dialogue with with younger artists, younger voices that also work in the same direction. The title that we have chosen is the title of a poem of Sylvia Plath. There are several reasons for the title. Let's maybe say that the first one is that her body of work has been taken as an example of how all the difficulties that women creators have suffered to approach professionally their careers, knowing that also in digital creation this has been a factor that has been unfortunately very much of the case. We wanted to also highlight our commitment with being more inclusive, being more diverse in the presence of artists in our spaces. But also in the poem, Sylvia Plath talks about the disconnection of our human verticality with the rest of the world. In a way, this is a parallelism between also how some artists nowadays use technology in a very disconnected way, not aware that they might be just also being complice of big tech and feeding this monoculture that we want to escape from. This is also a reason why we use this poem to also illustrate certain practices that search more for the connection and for the degrowth and for the slowing down and for really reclaiming creativity, embracing those limits of the technology.
Qu'est-ce que c'est que ça? Oh la vieille bête! Elle a l'air agressive. Attends, mais attends.
So, for example, among the works that we have that have been previously shown at iMAL, one of the oldest one is a series of drawings by Peter Beyls. So Peter Beyls is a historical digital artist from the time of the plotter art. So it's generative art. Something interesting about that one, there's this discourse today when we talk about generative and the digital, we think about generative AI. And so for us, it was important to show a practice like the practice of Peter Beyls, to show that the generative art, generative digital art can take different approaches that are more low-tech somehow, low-tech for today, and that are not dependent on big tech, on OpenAI and things like that. Another great example also from works that we've shown before, and that's also a production from iMAL from 2012, is Gobo Gobo Hey by Cécile Babiole. The first residency that we did on our Fab Lab, and Cécile took a very interesting approach to this like exciting new technology. She basically used the laser cutter to cut small slides, like a projection slides, in plexiglass. And then using a slide projector, she blows up these small details that she laser cut. The very interesting thing that comes from that is that from something that is very connected to a machine that is supposedly very precise, very high-tech, it's a laser cutting into plastic, we get something that becomes very organic. Also the newer works that we're showing, and there I'd like to focus maybe more also on the more local artists. So we have a work by Claire Williams called Psychic Radio. Claire there is taking inspiration from this mix of interest that arose in the 19th century. And there's something very interesting already in talking about digital and new technologies, but looking at the 19th century. And a lot of our current technologies find their grounding there. We had the computer in the 19th century, even if it was not entirely functional. But focusing on Claire, she's talking both about the emergence of the radio. So suddenly we have a disembodied voice talking to us. And the interest that existed at the same time about spiritism, this séance during which people would attempt to discuss with ghosts, dead people, aliens sometimes even. These two things were already connected at the time. So people, including Edison, were thinking that you could use the radio to connect with another world. And Claire is bringing that into her work. So she's recreating a radio. So it's the most low-tech radio you could build because it's not powered by an external source of energy. It's powered by the electromagnetic waves that surround us. So she's building that radio. She's not building it traditional way that people were using, for example, during the First and the Second World War. She's building it using embroidery. So she's bringing also another aspect from the 19th century, which were these manuals that would explain ouvrage de dame, that would describe a series of embroidery and this kind of textile work that you can do. So she's using embroidery to embroidery circuits and create this radio with these waves. It's not a super accurate radio. It's kind of flexible in many ways and imprecise radio. And the idea is not to listen to a voice coming from, I don't know, London or anything, but to try to sonify somehow, even if we can't hear it, to sonify all the electromagnetic environment. Sunjoo, semi-local artist, she's from the Netherlands, but she's building batteries. We're talking about also low energy, like with Claire. Sunjoo is powering a project with bacteria. So bacteria when they are living, and basically activity is energy. So she's capturing all this energy, she's collecting it in electrical elements that we call capacitors. When there's enough electricity, she gives that electricity to a clock.